Hey everybody, welcome to Linuxcast. I'm your host, Matt.
And I'm Drew.
We don't actually have to worry about an order because there's only two of us, so there's only one order could possibly be. So Nate is feeling under the weather, and Tyler is off doing whatever it is that Tyler does. So you guys are going to be joining just Drew and I. We're going to be doing our yearly awards. Now, one word before we jump into our week in FOSS here, Drew. I blatantly stole the word Tuxie from Jupiter Broadcasting. So the Jupiter guys, good idea. Good enough for me to steal. So thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not creative enough to come up with anything else, is what I'm trying to say. So welcome to the Tuxie Awards 2024. Drew has dressed for the occasion. So he's going to jump off first and tell us what he's done this week in FOSS. Then we'll do our awards.
I've taken the time to reflect about the 2024 year and what that has meant to me. And actually, we put in a little bit of effort into this podcast as well. So all those things this week. But as I was reflecting on the year that was 2024, I expanded my understanding, I guess, in things that I had no knowledge about. And Nextcloud and Jitsi rather, and Bash scripting, and even Lua scripting a bit, because I did a couple weeks in Awesome WM. And we also looked at dedicated and VPS hosting quite a bit. And along the way, I tried out tools like MK Docs. And so with all of those things, I thought that 2024 has been a very, very productive year for me. Now, I don't expect, as I've said many, many times, I am no expert, just a guy. But mastering new, not really mastering, but like exploring new skills and experimenting with new tools and technologies has made this 2024 a very good year for me in terms of like my learning. So that is what I've been thinking and doing this week.
Okay, so for me this week, I have been doing something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. So I'm off from my main job for this entire month. They had us do all of December's work and schedule it, and now we're just all off until shortly after the new year. And what I decided to do, since I have this extraordinary amount of free time on my hands, I felt lost for the first couple of days. It was really weird. But what I decided to do was to start working on something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and that is to create my own history brand with a blog and a YouTube channel. And eventually, hopefully, this will lead to me being able to do my own thing and be able to move on from my main job. Not that I dislike my main job, but I enjoy the idea of being my own boss and kind of being in control. So I've started that. I've had the domain name for, 10 years. It's been a crazy amount of time I've had the domain name. So I bought a VPS server. I went with Hostinger. Surprise! It was one of the ones we tried.
Okay.
I had a coupon code, so I got 4 years for like $400. So
actually, we didn't try Hostinger, but go ahead.
Yeah,
it was Hetzner.
Yeah, okay. Those names are awfully close.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, so I got 4 years for like $400. So I got that done. I got on Fiverr and someone's making me a logo. I got WordPress installed. Which was an interesting chore. I haven't actually installed WordPress manually before. I've always just used like a cPanel or whatever. This time I installed it manually with a lamp stack and everything that goes along with it. And then I got a WordPress theme from ThemeForest, which is astonishingly expensive. Way more expensive than I wanted. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It was like $65, but back when I was doing WordPress, they were like $20. So those things have gone up in price just a tad. And I got that all installed. I'm busy tweaking it, and I've started writing my first like blog post on it. So I've wanted to do that for a long time. I've decided to start it. I don't know how it will turn out. I feel like both I'm more experienced at starting this type of project now that I've had, the Linuxcast, be fairly successful, but also there's a big part of me that suspects that the Linuxcast was an aberration, and I'm going to start a YouTube channel and have like 5 subscribers for the next 10 years and just know that it was all a waste of money and time. So we'll see how that goes. And no, the YouTube channel's not up. When I do have that up, I'll post and blatantly abuse my audience and try to get them to subscribe to my new YouTube channel and view all my blog posts. So don't worry about that. I will try not to spam as much as I want to, but eventually that'll happen. So that's what I've been doing this week.
And you had hat envy, and it's rocking.
I did, in fact, have hat envy, but the best part is unlike Drew, I have a commercial interest. If you guys want this, in fact, Linux Nerd hat, you can go to shop.linuxcast.org and pick it up. You can use the code winter2024 at checkout and get 10% off your entire order. I'm turning into Linus.
Wow.
Hey, you want to know what? Anything for a nickel. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's what we've been doing this week. So here's the plan. We have, through some work, put together a program for y'all tonight. We are going to present awards to various things in the FOSS community. We have 5 categories where we're going to put up nominations, and then we'll have to discuss between us which one actually wins. It will be easier to have us agree that there's only 2 of us instead of having 4 of us try to argue amongst 4. So that should be be better. Once we get done with those 5, we'll move on to some individual awards where we don't have to argue; they're just ours. So we each have 5 or 6 of those, and then at the end we have some YouTuber/podcast awards to give out, and then at the very end, Nuggies of the Year. So you'll want to stay tuned for that because Drew has made a prediction. I don't know if the prediction is.
It is written down, I will not disclose this prediction that I think Matt is going to choose a specific Nuggie that he had during 2024 that I'm predicting he will now name as Nuggie of the Year. It is not what you think probably, but I'm going to go with what I think is going to happen.
I will bet money that he doesn't get it.
No, I will not take that bet. I will not be taking that
I was very wishy-washy on where I went with that. I think though, this sounds so fucking petty now that I must say it out loud, that I think I chose one that I knew you weren't going to get just so that you could be wrong.
That's totally petty. I agree with you 100%.
I was like, if I go with the one I think he thinks I was going to choose, he'll be right, so I got to choose something different. That's not really, but still, there was a part of my mind that went that way, so I couldn't help it. Anyways, that's what we're going to do. So the first, let me actually get Genie up here so I can actually see where I need to go. So the first one that we're going to do is the text editor of the year.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna start there because you never do artist of the year at the beginning of the show. You got to do the best one at the end. Well, towards the end. We're gonna do it towards the whatever. So Drew, your nomination for text editor of the year.
I'm gonna shock the world and go with Genie 2.0, but Genie 2.0 has celebrated as I think is celebrated as the Linux best text editor. Because it is balanced, it is simple, it is powerful, it is lightweight, it is feature-rich, and provides a fast and customizable interface for developers and general users alike with support for various programming language. I've used it for Python, as well as a couple other things, including Bash. It is an ideal choice for a reliable text editor without an overhead of really complex IDEs.
Okay, so there's no drama on this one. My nomination is also Genie. It is really good.
I was actually going to pick NeoVim just to throw a little bit.
The thing is, it would have been funny because how could I argue against Vim? Because I've been such a Vim fanboy forever. But yeah. So I still love Vim and I still use it basically every day. But there's something about having a GUI text editor that just makes a lot of sense. Now, it doesn't do Markdown as well as I would want it to.
No, that's clear.
But the way you got me started with the file tree along the side, just having the Nextcloud directory open and just having it update basically automatically is kind of magic. And it just feels like you're it feels like your own instance of Google Docs is what it kind of feels like.
Oh, that's fair.
Because you and I sat here yesterday and basically collaborated on documents inside of Genie. using Nextcloud as the synchronization tool. I mean, yes, we had hit the reload thing, at the top, but there's probably a way you could set that to be automatic if you wanted to. I'm sure there's probably is, but it was kind of like having our own collaboration tool, but without any of the proprietary nonsense. So yeah, Genie was mine as well. It was really, really good. So yeah, there's no drama there. Genie is the winner for best text editor of the year. There you go.
I'm so happy. I can't even tell you how happy I am.
What we need to do is have someone give a speech. Actually, I'd like to thank God, and
I'd like to thank the Linux Cast for this award. And I don't know, maybe one day we'll be big enough, Matt, that we will actually put developers on here and actually receive awards and stuff.
Yeah, well, MKBHD does those smartphone awards every year, and he actually has little trophies, but we didn't got the kind of budget, okay?
Oh, shit. Seriously.
You guys want that? You're going to have to go to shop.linuxcast.org.
And buy that sweet hat.
Yeah. All right. So let's go on to the next one then. The best FOSS project of the year.
I hope we're not going to pick the same one, but I'm fearful. I am fearful.
Okay, so let me see here. I actually do have this written down. Good. So Drew, your nomination for FOSS Project of the Year.
No, I think you should say it first, Matt. But
oh, okay. I don't think we'll choose the same one because mine's actually quite a surprise. So mine is GIMP, actually.
Okay, all right.
Now, there's a big caveat here because they didn't actually release 3.0 this year. It's not out yet, but they've made extraordinary progress toward actually getting there, and it feels like it's actually going to be released soon. So GIMP is my best FOSS project of the year. I've tried 3.0. It's in release candidate right now, and it is really, really good. Being able to select multiple layers at the same time and move them around all at the same time is just like, it's magic. And yes, Photoshop has been able to do that since the 80s, but we're not judging. It's really good. So that's my nomination for FOSS project of the year.
My FOSS project of the year has already been mentioned. It is not Genie. It is the other thing that we mentioned. It's Nextcloud. And Nextcloud is the best FOSS project of the year due to its versatility, its ease of use, it's powerful. And if, like Matt said, if you would like to potentially replace your Google Docs or a lot of the Google software projects that you use maybe for the last decade, give Nextcloud a try. Especially if you are, like we synchronized our data and we're able to collaborate very easily in the last couple days. And we could have done it the way we did it with using Genie on our particular machines, or you can actually just go to your instance of Nextcloud and do your collaborations there. It has a broad array of features, and it is a go-to choice for me going forward.
Okay, so how are we going to... We have our first conflict.
Yeah, I know. We can flip a coin if you'd like.
We could have the chat choose, but they're a bunch of, I don't trust them. They look shifty. So let's see here. So I guess we should have discussed this beforehand. How do we debate this? So you've given your...
I will say this, Matt, though, and I will give you the next one without question, because as you've already explained, GIMP is actually not a release. It is a release candidate at this point. And so Nextcloud, since it is now on version 30, is a full-on new release.
All right, you convinced me. Nextcloud wins. Damn it,
I'm
GIMP,
2 for 2.
Would you please come out with 3.0? You could have won an award. I'll have to wait till next year. All right, so the nominee or the winner for best FOSS project of the year is Nextcloud 30. Congratulations. All right, so moving on. So this one here I have a feeling we're going to agree on. So the best desktop environment of the year. So the desktop environment of the year. Drew, your nomination.
Well, I think I don't know, this may be a surprise, this may not be a surprise, but the fact of the matter is DWM came out with version 6.5 in March of 2024. Does this count? Yeah. Okay. So yeah. DWM is simple. It is efficient. It is a minimalistic approach to window management. It allows users to configure and streamline their environment to suit their exact needs. It's a tiling window manager. and it makes multitasking effortless. It is unbelievably good. Now, I know it's not a full desktop environment because you really need to configure it with its patches in order for it to work probably more efficiently than it is right out of the box. Now, can you use it right out of the box? Yes. Will you want to install patches? 100%. But the truth of the matter is, it is a version. There is a version this year, and I'm using it, and I am in love with it.
I would like to meet someone who runs DWM Raw, just out of the box.
Yeah, I don't know. That's true. But I know that there are people out there that do. It's like, oh, it's just boom, and it works.
I know a lot of people who run i3 without a configuration file. Like they've changed key bindings or whatever, maybe, but they don't do anything else to it. But DWM has, like you can't move, by default, you can't move Windows from one place to another. Like clients stay in the art. You have to have a patch to do that, right? So it's just like functionality that has to be there. You have to patch it. So, but yeah, that's good. So I'm actually going to change mine. Originally, I was going to say Cosmic, but I got burned the last time with GIMP. It's not out yet. So Cosmic, get shit together, get out, and you can actually win an award. So mine's actually, I really hate to do this, but Plasma 6 came out this year. And I think that despite the fact that it is still Plasma, and it's still buggier than buggy, it actually was a very good release. It definitely, in terms of expectations, I think that it reached them, and it didn't flop like some expected it to. So a lot of times, a KDE big release will just completely fail. Like KDE 4 was atrocious. Everyone hated it. I think it was 4. So the fact that 6 came out and people didn't absolutely trash it, I think is a good thing. And overall, it was a good update. So Plasma 6 is my nomination for this.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to you. I know that it's not a full, I know DWM's not a full desktop environment, and I think that Plasma has made some real inroads into making it more usable. Usable. Yeah.
I think that's where it is. So the winner for the best desktop environment / window manager of the year is KDE Plasma 6.0. Congratulations. Okay. we really need to figure out the speech just for next year. That'll add something to it. All right. So the next one is, we're going to go a little bit negative on this one. So the Razzie is going to be next. The worst distro of the year. It had some to choose from. So, Drew, do you want to take your worst distro of the year nomination first?
So I'm gonna pick something that I feel like should never have been made. It's irrelevant, and it's in the Ubuntu family. Okay, friends, and I know I'm gonna get some pushback on this, but Ubuntu Cinnamon is my nomination rather for of the Razzie Award, and because it's a lackluster implementation of the Cinnamon desktop. And since you already have Linux Mint out there and Linux Mint Debian Edition, what is its purpose? I have no idea what its purpose is for. So despite being on Ubuntu, which is user-friendly, Ubuntu Cinnamon just feels kind of irrelevant, disjointed, suffers from performance issues from what I understand, and is a derivative that need not be there.
Okay. Actually, that surprises me a little bit because I didn't think that would be where you went. But, so, okay. Hey, someone said Open Susan in the chat. Hey, War Thunder, will you ban that guy? I think that guy needs to go. That's rude. Darth Vader, too. I thought we were friends. Assholes. Anyways, so my nomination is actually one that I covered on the channel. Is Anduin OS.
Oh yeah, I mean, I couldn't pick something I hadn't used, but I saw that video, Matt, and it was just like, wow, yeah. Like, no, so, I'm not going to fight you on this one either.
How do you make a distribution that is deliberately for brand new users who are coming from Windows? You make everything look like Windows. You make everything as user-friendly as you possibly can. And then your solution for them getting software is to pop them into the terminal. Now, I'll give them that they did a good job of giving explanations of what you're doing in the terminal, and some of the arguments in that comment section were like, well, it's good for them to have a good tutorial on how to do it. They're going to have to do it eventually, but it was completely against the point of the whole distro. It was a new user distro, and you can imagine giving your mom or your Luddite cousin this distro, and then they have to go and open up, console or, Tilix or whatever to actually install Discord or whatever it is they want to install. That'd be like, that's just mind-bogglingly stupid. Especially when there are there are software centers, software stores that you could just put in there. Like GNOME software, you can just pop that in as a binary. It's there, you can use it. You don't have to do anything for it to work. You just pop it in there and install it, pre-install it on the ISO. It was the dumbest distro ever. It made me lose my mind. So yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight you on this. And here's the thing, and I know that this is going to make me sound bad, but there are certain distributions out there that have been written and are from other countries that I choose not to use, friends. And that's just my opinion about that. Anduin is a Chinese operating system, so take that for what it's worth.
I don't blame you there, Drew. I wouldn't use
Nate, you can cut this out if you really need to.
I wouldn't use Red Star Linux either, so it's one of those things, right? And there was a lot of things like when Deepin first came out about being a Chinese thing too.
Yeah,
so you gotta worry a little bit about the security and stuff. It has nothing to do with the people who live in China. It has more to do with their government.
Yeah.
So you want us to use your distros? Get rid of your government. I'm sure it's easy. Yeah. Okay. We're so getting canceled. Okay? All right. Anyways.
Not really calling for an insurgence or anything. No.
No. Viva Revolution. That's like V for Vendetta. Okay. Went off for the rails there for a minute.
Yep.
Okay, so the last one of our main awards, of course, is Distro of the Year. This is the distro we think it had the best release of the year. And sadly, this means that Debian is left out because they didn't have a release this year. So I'm
good with that, though.
Sad for you, Drew.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Next year?
Next year, they're winning. Calling it now.
Yep.
All right. Drew, your nomination for Distro of the Year.
I don't want to take yours, Matt, because I think that you're going to say Bluefin. But if you aren't saying Bluefin, I'll say something else. So what say you?
I am, in fact, saying Bluefin.
Okay.
Yeah, Bluefin's mine. But
I have installed Bluefin so that I could, after your video and your long-term review, I installed Bluefin to take a look at it myself. I am very impressed with it. And in fact, I will say the two Fedora-based projects that we've done, well, not we, but that you have done with Bluefin and Nubara that the podcast has done, both of them, I think, are excellent distros. Okay? So regardless, I think a Fedora based distro wins here. So I could put in Nubara and be very happy and be fine with either one of those two. That's my opinion. I think the two Fedora based projects that we looked at this year were both outstanding.
Yeah, really good. So yeah, mine's Bluefin. I chose this one because first I used it the longest. And I felt like I did a much better job with that one than I did with NixOS. I know there are a lot of people who say, well, Matt, you should have chosen NixOS as your distro of the year, but I just didn't like it. Like, it just wasn't for me. And I have plans to try it again now that I've talked to D-Dubs some more about it. Every once in a while, I'll talk to D-Dubs about it, and he'll say, oh, NixOS is still good, and he'll give me reasons why. So I'm still NixOS curious, despite using it for 9 months. But for me, Bluefin it was excellent. And the cool thing is, Drew, and one of the things I want to try is there's a tool that you can use to create your own Universal Blue / Bluefin image. And instead of using GNOME, you could use something like DWM or Hyperland or something like that. And it's just basically does the same stuff that Bluefin does, but without having to mess around with GNOME. So that's something that I want to try, is create my own image. And it's very possible that that's where I go after OpenSUSE. I don't know yet. I may stick with OpenSUSE now that I got Resolve working and all of my problems solved again, but it's a possibility because it's really, really good. So
Fedora's had a phenomenal year, I think. So there you go.
Yeah, Fedora's one of those. I don't know what the status of DNF5 is, but once DNF5 is, they're going to have probably the best package manager out there. So, and then of course, Bluefin doesn't actually use it at all. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they go from here because it's just good stuff. Okay, so those are the main awards. If your project won, you don't get a trophy, but you can, in fact, with our permission, on your website, put Distro of the Year if you want. George Castro, if you want to, put Distro of the Year on your website and label it as the Linux Cast, have at it. I don't know what kind of, I don't know if that's going to give you any cred or not. It'll probably scare people away, but...
Plaster our faces on there, the 2 thumbs up
with a dinosaur in the background.
That would be outstanding and not appreciated, actually.
All right. Anyway, so now we're going to move into our individual awards. We won't need to debate. Not that there was much debate, anyways, but we won't need to debate, and there won't be the same awards, right? So we've each come up with our own. Neither one of us know what we've labeled these things or what they are, so it'll be interesting to see. And we'll have a little bit of discussion back and forth for each one, so it'll be interesting. So, Drew, your first individual award.
So my first award is the Unintentionally Humorous Award, and it's going to go to... So basically what I'm thinking is excuse me, it's from their baffling decisions to what the actual software looks like. The Unintentionally Humorous Award goes to Audacity. Okay. Audacity is funny. They're not trying to be funny. Okay. Because back in 2021, they had that privacy policy where they started doing data collection, and then their UX overhaul looks like Windows XP for the most parts. And then, as far as their software is concerned, sometimes it gets flagged in antivirus software as an actual virus. So it's not intentionally funny, but Audacity, get it together, man. You're kind of making it hard on yourself.
Yeah, I don't think that I understand where you're coming from, but they've pissed me off so much I can't laugh at it anymore. It just made me so... I've had so many problems with Audacity lately. They can't be funny for me. They're just enemies at this point. Don't crash, Audacity. You hear me talking about you? If you crash, I'll... All right. All right, so... Yeah, my first one is my awards, Drew, have the most creative titles. I will fight you on this.
Okay.
Mine is New Thing of the Year. So this is my favorite new thing of the year, and I'm obsessed with this thing. It has changed the way I use the terminal, and it's called Zoxide. It was one of my Nuggies.
Yeah. Okay.
It was very, very good, and basically, for me, it has just allowed me to use Bash without missing ZSH. Because one of the features that I had with ZSH was being able to basically misspell things, or at least not capitalize things properly, and that was great. With Zoxide, I can just type in documents all small case, and it will allow me to. It's basically like Gen Z. It's like a Gen Z tool for my terminal, so I can just use never have to capitalize anything anymore. So yeah, Zoxide is fantastic. It's really good, and actually, it reminds me that I actually got to reinstall it because after my reinstall, I didn't get it back in. But yeah, Zoxide is my first one for New Thing of the Year, best award title ever. Okay. All right, Drew, your next one.
This is the Fire Award. And so it goes to something that's feature rich and customizable, yet if you look under the hood, can catch fire at any minute. And that goes to the KDE guys.
Yeah, that's good.
Granted, it is a feature rich desktop environment. And the fact of the matter is, it is so good, yet so buggy. And so that is why they're going to get my, this is the Fire Award, because under the hood, though, it needs some work still. It still needs some tweaking. It still needs a tune up here and there. It is, like I've said, it's really good. And I know you guys in the chat have, there's a ton of you that are big KDE fans and stuff like that. But we all recognize how good it is, yet how buggy it is. So that's the award for the, this is the Fire Award.
KDE will never not be buggy. It just...
It's just too feature rich, guys. It's just got way too much involved.
Well, and they don't stop adding features. Like if they just put like a year, I've talked about this before, but if they put like a year-long feature freeze in, just no new features, none. Like, sorry, we're not accepting new features. For the next year, every developer who wants to contribute, you start fixing bugs. And at the end of the year, yeah, you're still going to have bugs because there's no perfect software, but you're going to have way less. It's going to be the best long-term support version ever after that. And then you can start adding features again. Like every 3 or 4 years, just have a year where you do no features. It'd be the best thing ever. It's never going to happen. And the developers have actually said, like, we're just not interested in doing that. So whatever. That's the reason why GNOME is default on every distro ever. So there you go. Mm-hmm. All right, so my next one is the biggest surprise of the year. So this is the one that... So there are certain pieces of software that I'm religiously attached to. So like Crusader, Vivaldi, things like that. One of those pieces of software is Ranger. I've been using Ranger for years and years. I have all my key bindings and stuff have been there for ages. But I don't use it anymore. I use Yazzie now. Yazzie is my new file manager of choice in the terminal. Obviously, Crusader is never going to be disbarred ever. But Yazzie is really good in that it does image previews out of the box. You don't have to use any third-party tools to do it, as long as you're using a supported terminal. And it's very, very fast. I won't say that the configuration file is as good. I believe it's in TOML or YAML. I can't remember which one. So it doesn't have the easy configuration file that Ranger does, but it's still pretty good. And it's just really, really good. It does bug me that they changed the default. I wish they used more default Vim key bindings than what they do, but once you get past that and actually create those yourself, it's fine. So yeah, Yazzie is my biggest surprise of the year.
So YAML or TOML? What is that? I don't know I don't know what's the difference between the two. No,
I couldn't answer that question for you, Drew. I don't know. I'm sure there's a developer out there somewhere who's saying, whatever, but I can't answer the question. I just know it's one or the other. I can't even remember which one.
I think it's TOML actually, because I think D-Dubs was telling me all about it, and I have not tried it yet. But I understand you've sung the praises of it, and a bunch of the guys that are either in the chat or in the Discord all about Yazzie. So it's something to try for sure.
Yeah, it's very, very good. And it's in most repositories. Usually, new pieces of software take a little bit of time to filter into repositories, across distros. This one got into repositories very, very fast. So I'm pretty sure that I don't know about Debian, but I'm pretty sure it's in Ubuntu. I'm pretty sure that it's in OpenSUSE has it in the main repositories now. Arch obviously has it. Fedora has it. So it got into repositories very fast. And usually the terminal stuff takes a little while. So I was pretty impressed with that. So Drew, your next award.
The next award is the bafflingly complex yet delightfully functional award. So I can't say that again. Let me try it one more time. The bafflingly complex yet delightfully functional award. And that's going to go to FFmpeg. Okay. Because if you've ever tried to use FFmpeg in the command line, it is so impressive and so stinking powerful. You can do so much with that. And it is really stinking complex, but so functional. If you want to try to do a transcoding or video editing or format conversion or something with unbelievable speed or flexibility, It is one of the most powerful tools in video, just flat out, you know? So FFmpeg is my award that I will not name again.
Okay. And your it should be your tongue twister award. All right. So just to go off the back of that, my next one's going to be the biggest struggle of the year. And actually, I didn't choose FFmpeg, but it's related. So mine is codecs. So I've been struggling to get Resolve to work on OpenSUSE. And it's impossible to do natively. It just can't be done. You just can't do it. You can get it running, and then it may or may not actually render. A lot of times it crashes stuff, and it's just not good. So I've been running it in DaVinci Box, and for the last few days, it's actually worked fairly well. But I was telling Drew this before we started recording. I rendered last week's podcast after Nate was done editing. It was 122 gigabytes. Now, I did manage through using FLAC instead of their default codec to make it a little bit smaller, but it was still 60 gigabytes, which is way too big. So my initial plan, because you're right, Drew, FFmpeg is the tool that you can use to do a lot of the conversion stuff, and it's massively expansive. You can do a ton of stuff. The problem with FFmpeg is that if you don't have proper codec support on your distro, you're screwed because it won't convert things at all. And OpenSUSE, as much as I love it, I have a sticker right here that proves that I love it. I've made t-shirts and hats and shit for this distro. It's constantly on my mind because it's an awesome distro. But it has shit codec support. I mean, really bad. Now, you can install a whole bunch of codecs. You can do OPI codecs, and it will download a whole bunch of codecs for you. But for whatever reason, FFmpeg won't pick up half of those codecs. It just won't work. Now, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, or if it just doesn't support it on OpenSUSE. I tried using the Flatpak version, which should contain all the codecs, but that wouldn't work either. No matter what I tried, I could not get FFmpeg to work. I ended up having to use Handbrake, which worked just fine. So codec.
Was Handbrake in a container?
No, I was able to install Handbrake from the OpenSUSE repositories.
Okay. Interesting.
They named it something different. So every distro ever Handbrake is Handbrake. It's either GTK break dash Handbrake or Handbrake dash GTK, one of those two. On OpenSUSE, I believe, I may have these switched around. It's Handbrake dash GUI. I might have those switched around. Maybe it's OpenSUSE, it's Handbrake dash GTK on this and GUI on the others. I can't remember, but still, for a long time I figured like Handbrake is not even available on OpenSUSE because it's just not there. But I did manage to search for it, and it is there, and it worked fine. It was very, very fast. But FFmpeg completely failed me. But it wasn't its fault. It's just the codec struggle. Drew, in 2024. Linux is pretty good. We both agree that Linux is pretty good, right? But there are still some of these struggles on Linux that just shouldn't exist. Things like codec support, getting NVIDIA drivers installed on some distributions, getting AMD proprietary drivers installed on some distributions. It seems to be relatively impossible if it's not directly supported. Things like that. It feels like if we could get those little things, like, we're never going to get Adobe to come make their software on our platform. But we could make it so that at least those of us who are here don't have these little painful struggles that make us want to pull our hair out every once in a while because we're just trying to do something like convert from MKV to MP4. Like, that should be easy to do. And not have to be like, oh my God, I have to go find, codecs for this stuff. Like, codecs should just be a thing. Now, I understand there's going to be someone in the chat like, oh, it's a legal problem. There's lawyers involved and stuff. Like, I understand why it's this way, but it really shouldn't be this way. Like the Linux Foundation, just throw some of the money at it and like license it for everybody. It could work. I'm sure it could, because I'm a lawyer, right? All right, Drew, your next award.
This award is the All Hail the Command Line Award, and it's a tie, friends. It's a tie, and it's going to NeoVim and Git. Okay, two indispensable things in the command line. And if you are a sysadmin, if you are a power user, developer, or even just a schmo like me, those two things are indispensable. Indispensable if you are a tinkerer or are doing anything in command line. NeoVim and Git wins the All Hail the Command Line award.
Nice. All right. I think Yazi would win that award for me.
Okay.
That's the one that I've been using the most in the command line lately. So my next one is, I wanted to stick to a desktop environment for our main one, for me personally. So I chose Window Manager of the Year, and I chose Qtile. I have come back to Qtile, and it is so astonishingly good. It constantly surprises me how good it is. So the scratch pad support is just excellent. I'm very, very particular in the way I want my scratch pads to work. So in like i3, you can get scratch pads to work pretty well, but it's kind of tacked on. And if you close a scratch pad, like if you kill it, you have to restart i3 in order to get that back up. That's just the way that it kind of has to work. Now you can script your way out of that problem, but it doesn't work that way naturally. On Qtile, you kill a scratch pad, you can just bring it back up. And that's the way scratch pads should work. And it doesn't do weird things with like animations like Hyperland does and all that stuff. It doesn't do it's not as complicated to use as it is in like Xmonad, where you have to have like 3 different libraries in order for it to work, and you have to have a whole bunch of Haskell in order to actually get it to work. It's just a few lines and it works really, really well. So the scratch pad functionality is really good. I still will maintain that Qtile has the best bar of any window manager out there. Like, I like Polybar like a lot. I think it's great, but Qtile has a really good bar, and it's built in. It does a whole bunch of stuff. It's really easy to use in terms of like scripting and stuff now. So really, really good. Qtile is my nomination for best window manager of the year. It's just so good. Now, one thing I can't say whether or not they actually had a major release this year. I don't know. It feels like they're kind of behind in terms of releases, but seeing as how these are individual awards, I don't care. It's good stuff. So
and they have actually, it's the one X11 window manager that may actually make the transition to Wayland. I mean, in a good way.
Yeah, and it's actually like that's actually doing it. Like, we've heard rumors about like Xmonad doing it, but you know, they're years and years away. DWM is never going to do it.
No.
BSPWM is like dead.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
It's hard to say that, but yeah, I mean, I would still use BSPWM any day of the week. Honestly, it's always on my machine as my other window manager, but yeah, I understand what you're saying about that.
I don't know where like Awesome, like if Awesome Window Manager has any plans for Wayland or not.
I mean, based on their architecture, I think that they could do it. But the other, I would really like it if DK Window Manager was willing to like try and do that, because I know the guy Nate Maya is the developer for DK Window Manager, still working on it. And one of the things that I didn't say in terms of an award, there was a couple projects, Linux projects that like died. It's either 2023, 2024, I'm not sure. But Arch Labs, I thought, was a really good Arch-based project that is no more. And the other is Crunchbang. Now, not Crunchbang++ or Bunsen Labs. Those have been forked from the Crunchbang project. But crunchbang.org died this year and is no longer being maintained. But if you are ever interested, the Crunchbang++ developer was from Crunchbang and is still doing a phenomenal job with a Debian spin with OpenBox as its main environment. And anyway, I don't know how I got on that tangent, but still, DK Window Manager, I thought, was an outstanding window manager that not a lot of people know about. You know, not a lot of people. You know, you and I have tried it and used it, but I remember saying that to Brody Robertson one time. He's like, "I've never heard of this." I'm like, "Oh, well, you need to."
Yeah, he's not a window manager hopper so much, Brody. So the thing is, like, when we've talked about this, like, Hyperland at this point feels like the only Wayland compositor out there. Sway, you don't hear anything about. I know people still use it, but it's not nearly as popular. And you like things like River and DWL or whatever. Nobody uses those things. Like when I say nobody, I mean like there's like 4 people, right? So it just feels like, and it sucks because one of the things that I like most about Linux is the ability to choose between different things. And if you're going to use a Wayland compositor, Hyperland's basically it, and it's a little bit disappointing. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So, Drew, do you have any more individual, not YouTube ones, but individual ones?
You know what? I would like to say that I think we should have a community hero award. And if I was to nominate somebody for that award, I think it would be Chris Titus. And now I am not a guy that watches Titus videos all the time, nor do I watch his live streams. But every time I have, I've always been impressed by his willingness to like embrace the community as well, not just the Linux community, but anyone who wants to go from like maybe a Windows to the Linux community. I think that his effort should be noticed. And I think he's a really strong advocate for this community and has done a phenomenal job. So that's my take on a community hero award, basically.
Okay. I do have one last individual award. It's I actually took this one as one of your ideas. So the Please Don't Break My System award goes to Zipper.
Okay.
I love my OpenSUSE, as I've mentioned many times before, but Zipper does have a tendency, if you don't know how to use it well, to break your system, not because of any fault on the way. How do I say this? Not really on any fault of the user, but because it likes to output stuff that you need to read. And if you're a Linus type who just presses yes to everything, you can cause some problems because sometimes it likes to, the way OpenSUSE does repositories, sometimes it will look for the most recent version, at least Tumbleweed, will look for the most recent version of the thing. And if you have multiple repositories installed on your system through Zipper, and a newer version of a package is available on a different repository, it will try to install that from that repository. And it will ask you if you want to replace the old with the new, but it will also tell you what it's going to break if you do. But if you don't read that and know what you're doing, you can break your system. So my dumbass has just completely automated all of it, so I don't read any of it. It just does it. Now, I've gotten lucky. Basically, I've just set it so that it never changes the repository. It just sticks with the repository that it was on when it first was installed. So I think that's saved me, but yeah, Zipper does that. So that's mine. Okay, so I have 3 YouTuber awards.
All right.
So do you have YouTuber awards as well?
I do. I go ahead and throw. Do you have a YouTuber like?
I have a YouTuber of the year. I have FOSS Developer YouTuber of the year and Podcast of the year. So
okay.
I will do Podcast of the year first. This is a new channel that I just discovered not too long ago. It's SLEF HST. They do a podcast called This Week in Self-Hosted. Basically, they just cover news about self-hosting stuff. And he has developers of self-hosted projects and stuff on there. And it is really good. Like, he has interviews and stuff, and he covers the news, and he's well-spoken. So that's SLEF HST is the YouTube channel, and the name of the podcast is This Week in Self-Hosted. So that's my podcast of the year. Drew, your
I got I want to give an award. I don't know what I want to kind of steer away from saying it's a Linux hardware YouTuber award, but I'm just going to go with it because I think there are some elements to it. Anyway, it's LON TV, LON TV. If you are someone who does a lot of like Plex and media streaming and watching over the air channels and so on, I think that his channel, I'm sure many of you have already seen it, but LON TV is outstanding when it comes in it because it focuses on all kinds of devices that works with Linux and is all about streaming, basically streaming for whether it be over the air streaming or Plex streaming or what have you. But really, really good channel.
Good, cool, that's cool. All right, so my next one is FOSS Developer YouTuber of the Year. Now, I don't know, I labeled this guy as FOSS, but and he does a lot of FOSS stuff, but mostly he's just a bash guy. So his YouTube channel is You Suck at Programming. And I don't know if everybody remembers, but Terminal for Life was one of the premier bash programmers that I've ever met. He was just fantastic. And this guy reminds me quite a bit, at least in terms of talent, on a bash. He does a lot of stuff in bash, and he loses me almost instantaneously when it comes to bash scripting. Like he can do seriously magical stuff in bash, and he's also he's very critical of other people's ability when it comes to bash, which I find entertaining. So his YouTube channel is You Suck at Programming. He does some Rust and stuff as well. So if you're not into bash, but you like other programming languages, I am not a developer, but I enjoy watching his live streams. He's been doing at the Advent Calendar live streams the last couple days. Good stuff. So if you like to watch that kind of stuff, I'd give that a try. Your next one.
I've got one that actually I saw on DistroTube, and I know that you actually put in a blog post, and that is Bread on Penguins. And I'm going to give her the new Linux YouTuber award because she's only been around for like 2 months, and she already has more subscribers than I do. So I'm a little salty about that. It's a little shitty that she's that popular that quickly, but she is fresh and engaging, and her content is on point, friends. So Bread on Penguins has really opened my eyes, man. She's done an amazing job on her channel this quick.
So I want to just comment on that whole salty thing. I'm not going to name the YouTuber, but there's a YouTuber that started significantly after me, and they have like 100,000, 150,000 subscribers now. It's just nuts. Every YouTube video they do just blows it out of the water. Very, very nice person. We follow each other in Mastodon. Very, very nice person. But I am so obnoxiously jealous about that person. Like it's just like I can't even describe it. It's just it's a stupid thing because it's not a competition.
No.
Sometimes you just can't help but feel that way. But anyways, also I'm a little pissed off at you now, Drew, because my YouTuber of the year is Bread on Penguins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I went fully like her content is like. It's like if Luke Smith came out of the woods and changed genders, because she does DWM, a whole bunch of suckless stuff.
No shit, right?
And avoids all the politics, which is good. But she does go out into like her backyard and does blogging stuff like Luke did at one point. So she does very, very good stuff in terms of like just new but very nerdy Linux content. Like it's not like brand new Linux user, but like new to window managers, new to terminal and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff is really, really good. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed to Bread on Penguins, highly recommend. Very good channel.
She's legit, guys.
Yeah,
she's legit.
Eventually she's gonna have more subscribers than me, and then I can also be salty.
And she's only been around for 2 months. That's what's crazy. She's doing phenomenal. My YouTuber of the year. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have the same type of Discord setup that I do, but I'm Discord. I guess I'm connected Discord to Brody Robertson's Discord, and every day about 3:00 right now, he's got new content, and every day about 4 or 4:30 or something like, he's got new content. It's insane the amount of content that Brody is like putting out on a daily basis. It's crazy. So I am going to give him YouTuber of the year for the amount of content that he is putting out, the quality of his content, and his ability to break down complex topics. I think it's unbelievable what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm also salty about him.
I think he's got a few thousand on you as well, but
not about the subscriber count, but the amount of content, because he has like 4 channels. Every
crazy.
One of them puts out content every single day of the week, and he streams. I don't know where he finds the time. Like, seriously, I even if I didn't have like a regular job, I couldn't put out that much content. It just is impossible for me to even consider doing.
I just don't understand how that's possible. But that's why I'm putting him as my YouTuber of the year, because he's
that's a good one.
Crazy.
All right, so now's the time for y'all been waiting for. We're gonna move on to the Nuggies of the year. So we're gonna finally find out if Drew's prediction was as wrong as I expected to be. So
I'm fully prepared for that.
All right, so just to draw it out a little bit more, Drew, what is your Nuggie of the year?
So I'm going to go with MK Docs, okay, because I did mention that a few months ago as a Nuggie of the week. And I don't know if any of you guys have the need for a documentation website. It is a static site generator that I am hosting on Cloudflare pages. So MK Docs, by the way, is what I'm using for justaguylinux.com. And if you are looking for any of my documentation, you will find it there. I think that it is phenomenal software. It is written in Python. And I think that when you give it a try, you'll find out how stinking powerful it is. If you have the need for something like a static site generator that focuses on documentation. If you're not, you could use Hugo. I think Matt uses Hugo and stuff like that. So, but that is definitely one of the things that was a revelation this year for me in 2024 was to switch to MK Docs and that is my Nuggie of the year.
Okay, so before we jump into mine, yours pointed me towards something called Docusaurus.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be taking a look at that because that looks like something that I'm going to use. I couldn't get into MK Docs all that much. I think I'm not intelligent enough to figure it out. I could not get it to work. But anyways, that's where I'm going. So
you have a friend that uses it, so you might...
I know. I'm going to knock on your door one of these days if I can't get Docusaurus to work, because I might not be able to get that done either. So anyways, my Nuggie of the week... I got a home lab this year. I got really into home labbing and self-hosting, all this stuff, and none of that would have been possible without the Nuggie of the year, and that's Portainer.
Yeah, all right, darn it.
I actually had to go back because you made a list of all the Nuggies that you could find. I had to go back and make sure I actually had used Portainer as a Nuggie this year. I had. It was very early, like April-ish or something. But anyways, yeah, Portainer is it. It's very, very good. And what I like most about it is... Usually I'm a terminal guy, but for whatever reason, I don't like using Docker Compose in the terminal. I just don't care for it. I much prefer to use it in a GUI, so Portainer allows me to do that. It allows me to update things really, really easy, kill things, delete things, move things around where they need to be, create new containers, I can use Docker Compose really easily right in the GUI. It's very good. So yeah, Portainer, without that, I probably wouldn't have a home lab, to be honest with you. Now, I could have used Proxmox is like a runner up there, but I probably would use Unraid or something like that if I wasn't using Proxmox. So that's my Nuggie of the year. Now, Drew, what was your prediction?
My prediction was, I'll just read it. Bookshelf on iOS. I was thinking that was the way, because I thought that you were going to come with a little something off the beaten path.
Yeah, you were I was very close. So you were very close. So I don't actually use Bookshelf anymore.
Okay.
I use one called Bookly now, which is like the successor for that. But I was very close to choosing Bookly as my Nuggie of the year. Very, very close.
All right.
But I decided I
would have taken that as a win, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It would have been a win too because it would have been close. But I decided I was going to do something FOSS related. So. Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's also not what I thought you were going to predict. So there you go.
I thought I was like playing the
like
getting into your mind space.
The Harvey Specter play the man, or I don't remember what the saying is. My memory is so shit. All right. Anyways, that is it for the Linux Cast. Nate, I apologize for going over an hour, but we were pretty close. We did pretty good. Anyways, that is it for this one. If you want to get in contact with us, you can do so. The best way to do so is via email. It's email@thelinuxcast.org. If you need to get in contact with Drew or Tyler or Nate, you can send those to me and I'll get them forwarded on for you. You can also find all of our contact information, including Discord, Twitter, Mastodon, Blue Sky, all that stuff at the linuxcast.org/contact. The linuxcast.org, incidentally enough, is the best place to find all the previous episodes of the Linuxcast if you want to go binge them. Some of them might be a little bit broken on there. I'm still working on that because I'm a lazy person, so I'll get those fixed eventually, but you can get most of them back there. Anyways, you can also find previous blog posts there at linuxcast.org. Drew is on YouTube. He's Just a Guy Linux on YouTube. He does fantastic videos on Nextcloud, self-hosting, Debian, of course, and window managers and stuff, so you should definitely head over there, give him a subscribe if you haven't already. Seriously, what are you waiting for? Go do that stuff. I mean, if you haven't subscribed to his channel already, what is wrong with you? Seriously. Shame on you. Tyler and Nate, if you want to find their contact information, again, YouTube or linuxcast.org/contact. You can find us live on the Linuxcast. If you want to watch us live, you can do so every Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. There's just one more episode this year. Next episode, we're going to be doing something very frivolous. We're going to play a game of some kind. It's going to be very disorganized as per usual, so there you go. But it will be fun. We're just going to basically have a good time for an hour or so and then be done for the year, because that's it. There'll be no more Linuxcast this year. We'll be moving on next year to something else. So that's it for this one. If you guys want to, again...
Quick announcement, though. I mean, if you are around at 11:15 on Thursday, if you're watching this either live or from the Discord link, this Thursday, the 12th of December, we're going to have our one and only morning lug on the Linuxcast. So go to Discord and figure out when that's going to be.
Yeah, you'll find all the information there in the events tab of Discord. And Matt is horrendous at reminding things. That's why we have Drew over there, because he remembers stuff. He's the brain of the operations. All right. And anyways, I think that's if you can't watch us live, you can catch the edited version, edited by Mr. Nate, that comes out on Saturday evenings. You can catch that either on YouTube or on your favorite podcaster, because there's a audio version that comes out. It sounds awesome, so check that out if you can. And if you do listen to the audio version, if you can head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review, we'd be really appreciative of that. Even if you don't listen on Apple Podcasts but you have an Apple account, go leave us a review. Try to get us up there, and we're gonna try to be a big podcast next year. So in order to do that, you guys have to leave a review. So there you go. Anyways, that's it for this one. We'll see you all next week. Have a good one.